Ken, and thank you for tuning into the Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. Give me a call tonight. 412-575-2600 is the number, or you can always reach out to me on Twitter. We got some bonus time on the Nightly Sports Call tonight. My co-host, Gene Collier, sitting right next to me. We're going to be talking about the Steelers. They're getting ready to go. You can see a little shot of Gene getting ready to go tonight for the big show. Best show at 10:35, and it is 10:35 right now. Best show at 10:35 in Pittsburgh is right here on Pittsburgh's CW. We're talking about the Steelers tonight. The Steelers have a big game against the Ravens. Also going to discuss Ryan Shazier's injury. I just got back from Cincinnati, Gene, and what is concerning to me, I'll just get right to the point, what is concerning to me that there's been not a lot of updates concerning his health right now. And, you know, I hate to speculate on something like this on the guy's health, and I know everyone wants him to get well, and everyone wants to hear the status right now. Does that concern you, that there's been limited amount of information?
Well, I'm just very concerned about Ryan Shazier in general. I mean, that play, Richie, in Cincinnati really kind of happened right in front of us from where we were in the press box, and it was really a sickening thing. And for me, it completely ruined the game. I couldn't concentrate on anything else I saw that night, and I really haven't thought much about anything since. You know, I'd love to know more about it. But it's a kind of a terrifying place there between I want to know more and maybe I don't want to know more. It's, you know, it's a terrible situation.
Yeah, I know. I think we all felt the same way, Gene, because I felt exactly how after I saw that. You just wanted to get as much information as possible and hope that he is okay. Sure. And the fact that he wasn't moving his legs, it was just terrifying. And I really couldn't concentrate on the game. I'm watching the game, but all I kept thinking about is what's going on. And you see people walking around, leaving the press box, Steelers personnel, leaving the press box, going downstairs. And it's scary. But I think most of us just want to just hear some good news. I think that's what it is.
I think that's the way everybody is, sure.
So he was transferred back to Pittsburgh today from UC Medical Center in Cincinnati. And I would guess that that's encouraging news because he is stable enough and the swelling has, you know, the inflammation has gone down or subsided enough to be able to have him transferred from Cincinnati to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think the encouraging signs, Richie, are that he's communicated with some people and told them that he's going to be okay. And another encouraging sign, I thought, was the way the Steelers were in the locker room after the game. There was kind of a sense of relief in there to whatever degree. You know, that's a very immeasurable thing. But still, I'd like to hear more. I'd like to hear more positive things about him.
Yeah, speaking of degrees, I know, you know, Ed tweeted about it, and I talked to a few players. And at first, we thought it was, or believed it was a spinal concussion, a spinal cord concussion, which was similar to what Tommy Maddox had, right? But he recovered very quickly. But then I know from talking to some doctors that this is a broad spectrum. There's a spinal cord concussion, spinal cord contusion, and it could be somewhere in the middle, and it could take days, it could take weeks, it could take a while before he regains movement or feeling or walks again. And we don't know what the case is right now because there has been nothing officially released.
Yeah, there's a lot of, as you said, speculation out there, and I find a lot of it irresponsible, frankly. You know, it's by a lot of people who know about these things but don't know about this particular one. And yet, you know, in this kind of media culture, people are not afraid to comment or to diagnose people that they haven't seen. I find it kind of irritating, frankly.
Yeah, and we just all want him to get better, and it's scary. And hopefully, at some point, the Steelers will release some good news concerning his health. And, you know, for me, and I'd imagine it's the same thought process for you, Gene, I'm not thinking about his football career. I just want this guy to be able to walk again.
I want to know that, yeah, that's what I want to know.
And it's hard to transition from Ryan Shazier into playing a game this weekend against the Ravens, but that's exactly what the players have to do. And I know Ryan has told, like Gene said, has told a bunch of players to focus on the game, that he's going to be all right, and he's upbeat and in good spirits right now. And, you know, do you think that this will linger on, Gene, at all? Do you think that, you know, a lot of the players, Mike Mitchell even said it today, Vince Williams said it, that it was hard to concentrate for us, but it was hard to concentrate for them, hard to get into the game. Do you think that will carry over into the Ravens a little bit, where they might be a little flat because he's not there?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's hard to understand what they're feeling because they are so close to him. But they played a good second half in Cincinnati, and I think they're probably capable of playing more than that on Sunday. But if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't be surprised. No.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. Much more on Ryan Shazier. If you want to give us a call, any thoughts, 412-575-2600. Also talking about the Steelers. And I want to get into Mike Mitchell's rant after practice today. Has a lot to do with what's going on in football right now, suspensions and fines. And I'll tell you a little bit about what happened to George Ioka. His suspension was overturned and Juju Smith's wasn't. And you can give your opinion on what you thought about that, but it doesn't seem like the NFL is on the same page with some of these suspensions and fines. Back in a couple minutes. Give us a call.